Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be re-recording a video where I replay the experience that I had when I went to Portugal to a flight simulator. The previous video, the audio was not done correctly, so I'm reshooting the video. In this video I'm going to do a flight with a Tolis A321 from Porto to Lisbon. Let's see here. So I select a new flight, customize. Actually, before we do that, let's go to and do the flight plan. You see that I'm using the Iraq 2412. It's a little bit outdated, but it should be fine. And I'm centered here at San Francisco, LPPR. This is Porto. And I'm going to be putting the airplane at gate S30 here. S30, and I will be flying from runway 35 because it's relatively easy to go from here. With the pushback going on the runway 17, I would have to turn the airplane here around, and we're going to see that there is a really nice procedure to go from runway 35. So let's just go here, set airport LPPR as departure. We are going to go to Lisbon, so the capital. Let's go down here, Lisbon, set as destination, and there we go. We have a yellow line between the two airports, the two different points. The yellow line means that we don't have any plan yet. It's not planned, this route. What am I going to do now is to select here the standard departure. So departure procedures, SID, standard instrument departure. I was saying that I'm going to go for runway 35. So here we could go with this route here, this route, this, which is the one that I like the most, Mani 2W. I'm going just to take a note of that. Mani 2W. There should be Mani 2E. Yeah, this goes over the ocean a little bit, so I like this quite a lot. So let's just select this one and insert into the plan. Okay, so it becomes orange. It's planned now until the point Manic. Now let's look at the STAR procedures, the standard arrival, the show arrival procedures for Lisbon. And I know already that we're going to be using the runway 02 here. So we're going to arrive from the south, and we put here the 02. It's going to be like this. So we go to PSX, do a little bit of a belly here, and this one here doesn't look so great. Let's see some other one. This one also not that great. No, this looks okay. Shama 1A, that's the one that we're going to be using. We ran out of possibilities for arriving at 02, so I'm going to take a note. Shama 1A, this looks fine for me. Insert into the flight plan, and everything now is planned. We can see here I've entered already in a little nav map that I want to go at 15,000 feet. And here the last part, I'm going to save a little bit of time between Natid and Mazuk, or maybe to Ernil. Somewhere here I'm going to do a direct flight then to Nevut, to this point here. and cut this this belly here to make the flight a little bit faster. All right, looks fine. So we have our plan. Here, let's go to LPPR, to the airport, LPPR. This is in Porto, and let's place at, okay, it's already there, S0330. So the airplane is going to be placed here. Confirm, and let's start the flight. I selected to start airplane in so-called state cold and dark, where basically nothing is connected. Everything needs to be done from the ground up. What devices am I using? I'm using a joystick, a Thrustmaster 16000M. I'm going to show that in soon. I'm using a Wing FCU, a Stream Deck, and a Thrustmaster Airbus A320 for the controls, for the thrust levers, etc. So 4 different devices. There are some small configurations that need to be done. In the meantime, I think I can just present this. The one that I had a little bit more difficulty was with some buttons that are not properly done, and we can just create these functions in Lua. I save the script with my name, put into the fly with Lua, and it's the fuel transfer left toggle and the fuel transfer right toggle, and we're going to see where this is going to play. So we need to see that the program starts. It takes a little bit to load all the things. All right, so currently we do not need this window, but I like to have it handy, so I'm just going to be putting this into another screen, and I'm also going to put this displays into another screen that you cannot see. So let's just quickly see the devices that I have. I have the T16000M. Okay. Here I configured the button 8 to not this one, the button 6, sorry, the AP disconnect, so autopilot disconnect. This is going to be important when landing. We have the Wing FCU for the 320. This doesn't have anything to calibrate here. And the Thrustmaster, we have a couple of things. So I'm currently not connecting the rudder pedals, but I do have this part here. And one thing that I've added, so here in the parking brakes, you need to set the parking brakes hold parking brake lever in on position, and I've put also in number 8 the speed brakes toggle between arm and disarm. Okay, so this is kind of important. I'm also using the keypad, where I have here the Stream Deck configuration. The important thing here has been, let me start here. This was in the air conditioning, no, is in the lights, also not. Yes, this function for the this button here, the fuel pump 3, with the commands. It's a little bit hard for you to see, but this is the fuel transfer left toggle, and I have the fuel transfer right toggle. I'm using the settings for the A321 that I downloaded from the internet, from the X-Plane forum, and I just corrected these buttons here. Also, to connect the FCU, I'm using the Mobi connector. Okay, so it's should be yeah, it's not working, so I have to restart it. So the system should be showing exactly the same as in the Airbus. So it's starting now, started connecting, okay, and oops, the window disappeared. And when I click on run, yes, now it turns everything off, so it's running properly. Okay, it's a little bit strange the way that the shadows are moving. All right, so I also have another plugin, which is the X camera. And this plugin allows me to have different looks. Here the top part, the pedestal. I also have here these views, the autopilot, this part here, and this one. All right. So now we're going to start the airplane. We are going to make sure that we have the ISCS. Look at the ground services. We have external power, we have the chokes, we could have the high pressure air. The loading, so we're going to have 110 passengers. Going to give some information here, that's okay. So the first thing we're going to look at to start the airplane is going to turn on the external power. So let's go here to the electricity and external power on. So it looks good. So our systems are doing a self-test currently. You can see here, self-test. And one of the things I like to do really fast initially is to immediately align the ADRs here, here, and here, because this takes a little bit of time. We could, if we don't have the patience for that, we could also select here in the, I think it's in the situation or channel settings, align, auto align. So there is a way here to do a fast alignment. Okay, let's do this. So and we start. I have a checklist I downloaded from the internet. We start looking at the configuration of the airplane. First thing on the pre-start, looking at the parking brake, it's set. So I'm going to show where this is located. Parking brake here is set. The chokes should be on. It says here in the list removed, but I want them on. I'm not going anywhere. The GPU, the power, ground power is connected. Throttle levers are idle. Engine master are off. Batteries on. Let's go for batteries on. Electricity, batteries on. Generator switches on. External power on, so that should be fine. ADRs set to nav. I did this already before. Set the brightness of the panels. Good. Navigation lights on. So here on the I like to turn on lots of lights already. So navigation lights on. And I'm going to put the strobe and the beacon already and the wing. I'm sure that this is not the procedure, but I like to do this. Landing gear is set to down. Let's go to the position where it should be. Here. No, it's not here. Landing gear is down. Flaps are up. Spoiler up. Retracted. Let's see that. It's up and retracted. Fuel quantity, okay. Fasten seat belts on. No smoking signs on. Let's do that. In the lights, fasten seat belts, no smoking sign. We would now check the weather, ask ATIS for the flight services, and we would set the transponder to standby. So here, this is the transponder. I'm going to connect it, and this is in the communication transponder. Going to set it to standby. So standby. Beacon lights on, I did already. Emergency lights arm. So emergency lights arm. FMC setup and check. So this is the first time that we're going to take a little bit more time to have a look at this. So here we see the IRAC 2412. This is a little bit outdated from, it was valid until 26th of December. But for me the important thing is that it just matches with the little nav map. So there is an initialization procedure which is DFIRPS, if I remember correctly, DIFFIRPPS. So we go here first to the data, ACARS position here. I don't think that I'm going to be doing anything here, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to the init page. We're going to go from Lima Papa Papa Romeo from Porto to Lima Papa Papa Tango. That's the airport we're going to go to. The company route or route, company route is none. Alternate, we go back to Porto, Lima Papa Papa Romeo. We go to another one. Flight number LH4725. Cost index, you can just put any value here. It's used for some fuel computations and some thrust settings to save fuel. Cruising flight level 15,000 feet. Temperature is computed automatically. Align IRS. We should be fine here. Init page currently looks good. Now we go to the flight plan. We have Lima Papa Papa Romeo, where we select here the departure, where we said that we are going to leave at runway 35 on Money 2W. So we search for Money 2W. There we have it, and we insert this one here, and we see we are Lima Papa Papa Romeo runway 35, and then goes to UDRUB. Let's see if this is matching what we had here. Runway 35, UDRUB, etc. until Manik. That's the last one in the seat, and Manik is the last one. So meaning that there is a discontinuity, and then Lima Papa Papa Tango. We need to tell the device, so the computer, where we want to arrive. We said runway 25 with ILS, Instrument Landing System, and we went to Shama 1A. So it should be down here, Shama 1A, Novia, and insert. Good. This looks very nice, except that between Manik and Shamax there is a discontinuity, so we clear the discontinuity and we insert the clearance. Good. Now what we need to do is we need to look at the plan, that it looks good, inserted into the system, and for that we look here. So I'm going to have to move the device here a little bit. Let's go for here, this one, and now I need a little, yeah, that will do the job. So click anywhere and go back. So when we see UDRUB, so we come from Lima Papa Papa Romeo. In our plan we are the computer knows it has to go here, then go there, then go down, which is exactly what we saw in little nav map. So the next point, then Manik. From Manik we go to Shamax. There we go, and then here PT 810, 812. This one here, Mazuk, and then we have this small belly that, as I said here, small angled thing. Go here, zack, 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 and then enter Nevut, Pesex, and go into the runway, Netvo, and then the runway. And then we have the end of the flight plan. Good. So this looks really good. In the meantime, we can leave this in the plan with about 40, and so not in the plan, we should leave this at the arc. Okay, I have difficulties rotating this, so sorry if this is going back and forth. I'm not using a mouse, I'm using fingers with the touchpad, and somehow it's not so well controlled. So anyways, continuing, we go here and look at the constraints. This is still not aligned. It says IRS align in 0 minutes, so it's going to align in soon, pretty soon it's going to align. Let's continue our setup. So the flight plan is currently done. The FIRPs, the R here, I'm not doing anything. So then we go to the performance. For the performance, we need to turn here. We entered already the origin and the destination, so we should be able to see the takeout performance. So already it's knowing that we are going from LPPR to as the takeoff. It has the parameters. We compute. So we have flaps 1, flex temperature. We don't need to do a toga, so we can save a little bit of fuel. V1 between 109 and 144, but the rotation speed, this is the important one, 144. V2 147, the trim settings up 04, and that's it. Now we go and set this one, so 140 here doesn't matter so much, or GPS primary, so it has aligned now. Yep, it should be aligned. Very good. Let's continue. So clear, gets good information. The rotation speed was 144. 147 was the V2. Transition altitude. This, I'm not exactly sure what this is. I remember hearing something about this, but I need to recheck that. The flaps and the trim setting was flaps 1 with up 0.4. You could also enter 0.4. If it doesn't accept the 0.4, then try the 0.4. Here, important, the flex temperature. So we are going to do, we are not going to do a toga takeoff, and everything should be set here. Go to the next phase, the climb phase. Managed, looks fine. Cruising, descent, approach, QNH, I think 1013. I hope that this is correct. Temperature, I don't know, so I'm not sure here if it is 10 or 2 or 29 or 2. But I think it has worked until now. Next phase looks good, so in terms of the performance we are fine. The prog part doesn't say too much now. And fuel prediction, we have missed something in the init page. Yes, we missed the init page. We missed here something, which is the zero fuel weight. It's 65 tons, and the center of gravity is at 27%. So we need to put that zero fuel 65. We're quite heavy for such a flight. And the block fuel, I think I've put fuel on board. The block fuel, I've put the 7. Let's see. In the pedestrian here, block fuel 7. There we go. Zero fuel weight with 27%. You can also see this here. So, and we get the block is 7 tons, and it computes some things. So how much time do we have for the takeoff, and etc. How much fuel, and the 2 pages are done. So the fuel prediction and this one. So everything is set up here. Just the last S is done. The secondary flight plan, we copied active, and we are good to go. The pilot that is flying, in this case the captain on the left side, is going to always look at the flight plan. It's always going to have this page here looking. Good. So in our checklist we did the FMC is set up, is done. Departure briefing, we discussed pilot, co-pilot, where we're going to, and so transition altitude and all those things. And now we are going to close the doors. In this case we are going to go to the, I think the configurations, no, ground services, aircraft doors. We could also check in the here the doors. Actually, I think they are all closed now, but I'm going to, instead of leave them in auto, I'm going to put them all doors are closed. So here everything is 100% closed. So now we are finished with the pre-start checklist. Startup checklist, APU start. So electricity, APU master. So let me show what I'm doing. Go here, APU master switch and APU bleed. This should be in here. APU bleed on, and APU generation. So oh, I forgot to start APU, so I only set the master switch, but I need to click the start. Okay, now we can have a look at here. This is another window, it should be here. Okay, where is this window going to? Okay, I need this window going. Sorry, this is my secondary screen. Just need to position the window. I don't know why this window disappeared. It's good now. So we are going to see that we have already some exhaust gas, and at some point the APU is going to start generating some voltage, so it's going to be on. There we have 115 volts for 400 hertz. So the ECAM here, the phase, this is controlled automatically, where basically it's the airplane at which stage it is currently. Good. Now rechecking the thing. So thrust levers are set to idle. Now I'm just forgetting one thing, so let me just stop for a little bit. In the joystick there is the number 8, so number 8 speed brakes, and I just let me explain you here something, that we're going to come to this point very soon, and before this escapes my mind. Okay, where is the window? Where did it go to? Okay, here is it. And in the, okay, that's not the window. That is not looking good. Close the window. Remind me later. Yes. So, sorry for this. Okay, now it's going fine. So when I go to the ECAM, you can see here I have cabin. In a short time is going to say cabin crew, whether it's checked or not. This is a button that the cabin crew presses in the where the cabin crew sits, to tell that everything is prepared. And this is for the cabin. It's also a script that you just need to configure to set to the to activate the cabin crew, the button for the cabin crew. So sorry for this this explanation, but let's continue. Thrust levers are set to idle. The pump switches are not on yet, so let's turn them on. And for that we're going to go to the pump switches and put them in on. Here, these ones are the buttons that were not working before, but now you see that they are. And before I start the engines, I request a pushback. So we go here to the better pushback and connect the thug. So it's coming here, and this small icon needs says what is currently happening. Really nice. We are going to arrive to Lisbon, where with a little bit towards the night, so you see that the sun is setting already in the simulator. So driving to the aircraft, and it's going to connect and lift the aircraft a little bit. You're going to see the aircraft lifting a little bit. In the flight simulator I was in Portugal, it was really nice because it's a really immersive experience, and you really feel that the airplane is moving. It was really, really good. Waiting for doors. So, and I always make this mistake. always make this mistake, calling the the thug before disconnecting the external power. I always forget this. And now it says that the doors should be closed, and it's going to start doing its thing. We can go here to the outside. So it's still waiting for the doors. What did I forget? The doors should all be closed. So let's ground power unit. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. I make the same mistake. I need to change this checklist to have this, because yeah, of course, if this is all set to on, we're not going to get the things done. So we disconnect here, disconnect all these things, and disconnect this thing. And now all the doors are closed. I made the same mistake twice. I really I need to adapt the checklist. Sorry, and to write here in the checklist I need to disconnect the external GPU. So let's go. What's it doing now? Grabbing the aircraft. It's going to grab, and now we see it lifting. So we see the aircraft lifting a little bit, you see here. So that's really nice. Alright, good. Connected to the aircraft, waiting for clearance. Now we're going to start with the pushback. So better pushback, start the pushback. But of course it's going to ask us where do we want to go. And for this we're going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to see that this is the runway 35 where we want to go. And obviously we want to put the aircraft at this position. So, and for the time being we can just accept the things as it is, so press enter.
So connected and bypass spinning circuit. Release parking
And
brake.
now it will wait for us to release the parking brakes, which I'm going to do here. Parking brakes released, and it's going to start with the pushback. There we go.
Starting pushback. You may start the engine.
In the meantime, we start the engines. So we set the mode to the ignition, and we start the left engine. So here I set it to ignition, and now I'm going to start the engine, but I want to see it here, actually there. Engine number 1. So actually should be looking here. N2 is going up at about 20 to 30%. We should start seeing the EGT going up, the exhaust gas temperature, and I think it goes to about 480 degrees, and then we are going to see the engine becoming available. Yeah, it's going up. Let's see. In the meantime, we are going back and back. Looks good. EGT is going up. The pressure for the oil is also good. Go up, up, and it's going to tell me that it's available, and when it's available we start the second one. Let's start the second engine. In the meantime, I'm going to observe the pushback. good. So we are being pushed back here. Let's go again inside the cockpit. In the meantime, I can see the pushback as it's happening here. We look at this, and 200, 400, and we should get an available engine in soon. Available engine, awesome. In the meantime, the pushback is almost stopped. I don't know why, but this keeps on pushing back, and I don't want that, so I just set the parking brakes.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow.
We should be fine here. Oops, sorry. What does it need to do? Ungrabbing the nose, okay. Ungrabbing the nose. Let's take out this part. And I signal it's okay to disconnect. And the thug should go away. It's disconnected there. It's called the thug, right? Auto pushback. Tug, not thug, tug. Alright, should start going away. Move. I need to go. Yeah, it's good. Alright. So we check the oil pressure. The fuel flow is also going well. Fuel flow, how many kilos, looks good. Hydraulic pump switches, APU we can turn off. So APU means we go to the electricity, APU, master switch off. It still stays in available because we should connect this, the crew supply, because the APU is still warm, and since it's still warm, I could just start it immediately. So that's why it will turn off the available in soon. Now the mode switch, put it into normal. The engines are started, and this completes our startup checklist. Now before taxing, probe window heat, heading indicator, altimeters. We would look at the temperature. We have the standard pressure 1013. The standby instruments are also set. Radio and avionics, we are not doing the radio currently. Autopilot set, so let's look at the autopilot, and here I'm going to put at 10,000 feet, so it's set, the autopilot. The flight director is already on. Auto brakes set to the max, so auto brakes set to the max. Elevator trim, okay, this I don't have a view for this. I think it's up somewhere here, should be fine. I think well, should be fine. Flight controls are free, so we're going to the ECAM flight controls. Let's look at ECAM here, flight controls. Our pitch, oh, it's perfect, 04 up, and we are going to go push down, push up, go one side, go the other side, and the rudder, everything works perfectly. So before taxi checklist complete. Now take out this thing here. So taxi lights on. So let's go to the lights. Taxi lights on. The landing lights and the runway lights, I also turn them on. Parking brake release, and we start moving towards the runway. So give it a little bit. Give it a little bit of gas. And we see already here that the checklist, this is now where it starts becoming interesting. I'm not going to do this now because I'm a single pilot, but this would be done with two in parallel, of course, that they would go over this checklist, that there is no blue here. And as you can see, maybe I can show this in the meantime, there is a cabin check. That's where this small trick is going to take place, the one that I said before about the button in the stream deck for the crew. So let's go a little bit. We're going to go 7, 8. You can see the speed of the airplane here, 11. Should not go more than 20, otherwise the maneuverability is going to be pretty difficult. We can see the map here in the meantime, where we are in the airport. It's a really nice program. Okay. Before entering the runway, we would stop and look left and right and ask for permission to enter the runway, of course. So we are here, we came from here, going there and entering the runway. So here, let's try to enter the runway. Overshoot a little bit. All right. Now let's look at this checklist here. Cabin check. So we're going to here, cabin check. Yes, check. Good, cabin ready. Spoilers arm. Spoilers arm. Let me show you the spoilers arm. This is the one here. So we arm the spoilers. Flaps at takeoff configuration. So we move flaps. Do we see the flaps? We don't see the flaps. Move the flaps to 1, and they start moving. Here they start moving, and they will be in takeoff configuration. And then the takeoff config button. So no blue means we check here and we press this button, the TO config. So here, takeoff config, done. Everything here green. Predictive wind shear is off. I always forget this. So we turn on the predictive wind shear. And everything is green. We are ready for departure. Now, just going to read a little bit. So before the takeoff, parking brake is set, flight instruments, check, engine and instruments, okay. We discuss again V1, VR, V2, 140, 144, 147. So rotation at 144. Navigation lights are now on. All the lights, let me confirm, lights, everything is on. The pitot heat, we could need this, and transponder Good that there is the checklist. So communication, we go to the transponder and we set the to TARA, and of course ATC would give us a transponder number. I'm just going to put the 4725. It's also okay. And we request a takeoff clearance. Now, at the takeoff, I'm not going to go through all the list that is here because this is going to be a little bit busy time for me for the takeoff. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the parking brake, put the thrust levers into full thrust, not the toga, because we have a flex takeoff. When we have positive rate, put the gear up, flaps go to 0, and turn the autopilot on, and then everything happens as magic. Okay, let's do that. Parking brake off, set to full thrust, and we start moving. Then we start monitoring here that we are coming to the 144. The hand always stays in the thrust levers until the rotation speed, because we might want to abort it until then. So we have the number 1 written there, and the rotation is there, rotate. So positive rate, gear up, flaps up, disarm, autopilot, and the thrust levers go to climb, and that's it. And now the airplane is flying by itself. Now let's basically read what is here. So takeoff thrust, full or toga, we did a full takeoff. Brakes, we release the brakes at about 100 knots, speed cross check, okay. V1, committed go decision. VR is the rotation, pitch 10 to 15 degrees, looks okay. Positive rate of climb, gear was up, I did that, it's fine. Flaps, I put it to 0. Spoilers are disarmed. Landing lights I'm going to turn off now. So lights, and this nose should be fine. So turning off a couple of lights. Then the climb out checklist, thrust levers to climb. So I can check here that this is in the climb position. So what I did before is I went to the flex, not to the toga, but to the flex or the full, and now it's in the climb position. Good. Autopilot 1 is engaged. Taxi lights are off, I turned them off. Altimeter, we are crossing the 4,000 feet, so it's going to start complaining that we should put this into standard mode here, and autopilot would do the second pilot would also do the same, but I'm not looking at the co-pilot. The airplane is going at a nice speed, 250 knots. And we're going to climb and climb. So here we can see a couple of constraints. Here I think that it's better to put it at about 20 or maybe even 10. And for the time being we can just relax and enjoy. Let's just see a little bit how does it look with little nav map. So where are we now? So we took off from here and we are crossing there and going into this direction, so all is looking fine. Beautiful sunlight, so the sun is setting. We are passing 8,000 feet and I'm going to actually ask the airplane to climb to 15,000. After crossing the 10,000 feet we take the seatbelt signs off. And another thing I'm going to do is, and I'm going to do it now, is I'm going to ask the airplane to go faster. I would need to ask this to ATC, but here I know that this airplane now can go maximum 345. I push this and the speed is going to start increasing. You see here the small arrow. It's starting to increase the speed. We are past 10,000 feet, so seatbelt signs are off. And we just enjoy the scenery. Again, let's have a look very short at the little nav map. Okay, we crossed here and now we are going into this direction. All is looking great. Let's hope that the landing also looks great. Now we are in the cruise checklist. We have we are monitoring the engine and the instruments. So this means here that currently we are in climb mode. The airplane should still be yeah, it's still climbing, so putting a little bit of power in the engines. Exhaust gas temperature 500 degrees centigrade, looks fine. We use 10 more kilos in the left engine than in the right engine because we turned it on first. That's good. And the packs, the temperature, it's a little bit colder pack and very cold, 18 degrees in the lower part of the airplane, but all of that is normal. Fuel quantity check, so we would constantly also be monitoring that we have enough fuel. Radios tuned. Currently I'm not looking at radios. Autopilot is set, so we should not cross here in this area. This is, if we cross that speed, means that the structural integrity of the airplane might be compromised, so we don't want to do that. 3.6 nautical miles, naughty miles, until we get to the PR 633 point, which says that we should be at above the flight level 70. We definitely are, and that would be the top of the climb, which is kind of matching what we're doing. That is good when things are matching. So we are going to start leveling off and the power in the engines is going to start coming down. In order to save a little bit of fuel. Well, save a little bit of fuel. We need to spend more fuel when we're climbing, and then we just need to maintain the airplane at that level so the fuel consumption is lower. Lights as required, ATIS, airport information check, altimeter check, radios are set. And then starts with the descent. So we are going to have a look when we need to do the descent afterwards. For the time being, we still have, let's have a look. we still have a distance of 218 miles to our destination, to runway 02. Time of arrival, more or less, and yeah, we should be at this speed, flight level 142. Is this really 142? 150, okay. Yeah, we are at about, I think, 12 nautical miles, 11 nautical miles to Mani 2W. Can check that. 10, yeah, looks good. And yeah, now we start going a little bit more towards land, so we crossed the part of the ocean there, and we're going to follow the next points. So let me again check the little nav map. Yeah, so looks pretty good. Where are we now? We are exactly, we had our top of climb at this point, and we are going to Manik now. It would have been nice maybe to go directly from here to Natit, so that we catch a little bit of the sea, but yeah, it's the route that it's planned into the system. We still get a little bit of the view here. So it says current time 5:06, okay, and estimated time of arrival 5:45. So we need to wait a little bit. I'm not 100% sure if the 5:45 takes into consideration that I'm overspeeding. I think this is with the speed that is pre-programmed in the system, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. So maybe I can take this opportunity to discuss slightly, so a little bit on how about the configurations of the system. So let's put it here. So we had the Iraq 2412 for little nav map that I installed into this directory, and in the X-plane I installed into this directory, the X-plane custom data. In the configurations, the Trustmaster A320, we need to fix the parking brake, as I said before, so assign 14 to park brake position hold. So park brake, hold park brake lever in on position, that's the correct thing. And the arm design speed brakes, I decided to use assign 8 to the speed brakes. And now let me just, I forgot, did I forget? No, I had not forgotten speed brakes, so very good. So those are part of the configurations, and I also added a small Lua script that I've shown before, and here it's repeated, to control the those buttons here. I can show where those buttons are. So no, it should be these two buttons here, the fuel left transfer and right transfer. Now this was this part, and so in the X keypad Stream Deck configuration tool we add a command, and this is what we need to add, this toggle, which is basically written here or there. For the check cabin that you saw before, so when I said no blues, so the check cabin is a command, is the Airbus XP12 fly-by-wire check cabin. And for the speed brakes, there is another thing that we could do. We could also write a Lua script to set the speed brake ratio to -0.5 if the speed brake ratio is 0, and if it is -0.5 we set it to 0. If there is a value bigger than 0, we should not arm, we should not set. So, and this is the function I come up with. So we'll look at the current state, speed brake ratio. If the state is 0, we arm the speed brake. If the current state is less than 0, it's negative, then we set it to 0. Otherwise we don't touch it. We cannot arm otherwise. Good. How much time do we still have? So distance 169. Enter destination data. Okay. For the time being, so the performance, I don't remember when, for the destination data, I'm not sure. So it's in the cruising destination. It's probably I'm missing something here. Not allowed. Okay. Flight plan. As I said, the pilot navigating always has this thing here. Okay. Tailwind. This thing looks good. Good. And what can we go here? We can also do that. Okay. The navigation, the viewer, this is done basically automatically in the airplane. Airport here, it's the closest airports that we have, if I'm not mistaken, but I didn't learn what this is yet. What I've learned is the DIR key, the going directly to some point. We're going to use this later on. Now let's check our plan here. So let's see, 250 knots here, PT 810. Can we check more? Okay, so in about 60 knots, more or less at 60 knots, we should start going down, and we can see already the airport in Lisbon is already there to be seen. In 60 miles, let's see in the little nav map. It's always a nice reference, but you don't need, once you do the planning of the route, you don't need to use little nav map. Good, so we are here, and within so many nautical miles we can see already the airport there. Let's put it here. Let's take this down. Okay. We went up a little bit more aggressive than what the plan here was, but we went above the restrictions, so this is good. And it's looking great. Here is this information. Yeah, we can have a big window here. starting to turn. PT80, so now we are arriving here. 0.4 nautical miles, now 25 nautical miles to this one. Let's see if it is correct. So 20, 40 and 20 something, 24 looks fine. The middle here would be 30, 20, 30, 40, 25 nautical miles. Looks good. It's automatically doing the VORs and etc. What a nice scenery. Can we do the thing here? Yep. It's probably a little bit noisy when I look from the outside of the airplane. This is a really nice scenery. Okay, I also like a lot this view. The second view. Another one that I also enjoy quite a lot is this one. Really, really cool. A little bit close to the engines. Right, let's go and check the instruments. So, here let's start planning a little bit. What we have here is the top of descent. We have here flight level 80 at this point that we're going to be going. There is the restriction of 250 knots. Let's imagine I asked to travel this fast, so. But here we have 230 knots, so it's good maybe to start slowing down a little bit. And I'm going to put it to the 230. To about 230 at this point. Let's go, and as we can see, the airplane starts slowing down. And as far as I understood, for kind of it's good to try to change one thing at a time, like the speed or the altitude. But if we try to change both, typically the altitude wins and the speed either remains constant or increases if we want to go down. So that's why I'm reducing now just the speed. It's probably going to idle. Yeah, the engines are in idle, as we can see here. And it's a little bit better idle. Going even further down, further down. And we are at level 150, and there we should be at this point, so a little bit later on we should be at level 80. So I'm going to wait until we get to this level, and then I'm going to start descending. So we are arriving to that speed, and then I start switching the altitude. Okay, looks good. Now start. Let's go to the 8000 and ask the autopilot to go there. So we're going to see that we start going down, but maybe not fast enough. Let's see. So for that, there should be some icon popping up here. Yep, it's around here. I don't believe that we're going to go to that level so fast. But then again, where are we? We are at 80 nautical miles, so a little bit much. Okay, that's too bad. Okay, that is not possible. Good. Let's see, we're going down at 1.3. I think, yeah, okay, now it's putting here saying that it's computing that we're going to arrive there at set the flight level 80 that I programmed here. I don't believe that. So I'm going to put a little bit of speed brakes. And probably the engines are going to, instead of going to idle, let's see. No, it's okay, they continue at idle. It's going faster down. So what I've done is, where is the speed brakes? I put it here at half. We are going to pass the 10,000 feet, so I'm going to prepare and set the seatbelt signs to on. Seatbelt signs on. We are not at the 10,000 feet, but we can do it like that. Another thing I should not forget is to turn on the localizer. It's a little bit early, but let's put it on. 230, and we are going pretty good here in the descent. Can we see from the outside? Should be good. Descending 10,000 feet. I think the transition altitude should be about 4,000 or 5,000. It's going to complain here. And we are going to arrive this, and I'm going to start 230 is still good enough. Let's enjoy a little bit longer. Yes, a little bit more, not longer, what is the correct word, a little bit, view a little bit more ahead. So up in the distance. So we are going to arrive almost to this knotted point with a speed limit of 230. We are already at 230, so that's good. We're arriving at the level, at this level I wanted, so that's good. Now the engine starts coming out. Oh. Speed brakes was not good here, so engines start going up a little bit because yeah, now we need to maintain this level. Seat belts are on, this is good, and until now everything looks fine. What we could try to see is whether we see the airport. I think the airport is there, but I'm not sure. Let me see. or maybe that, or maybe here, maybe there. It's probably this one here. It's probably here. Can we see? Yes, it's probably here. This is probably the airport. So we're going to go around here. Yeah, it's most likely the airport, because here is somewhere, here is the bridge, here is the big ocean. So yeah, that's most likely the airport there, which is pretty well fitting with the picture that we have here, that the airport is almost to our right hand side, on our right hand side. So it's definitely there. It's definitely there. So still 12 nautical miles to go to this next point. We are already at flight level 80, so this is work done ahead. And then when we are between both of them, I'm going to go directly to this Nevud point here. Now, thinking a little bit ahead, because otherwise it's too much stressful. Let's see the approach checklist. Fasten seatbelts is on, it's already on. The radios are set, I'm not using radios. Speed established 210, I'm at 230. Let's lower it to 210. Just probably ATC would also tell us this. Okay, so as you can see, speed is lowering. Landing lights, check on. So I'm going to turn on the landing lights already. Taxi lights on. Taxi lights on. The spoilers arm. So I'm going to arm the spoilers. This time I'm going to show here and bang, arm the spoilers. And auto brake set, so set to medium. So this, the amount we want to put here depends on how much we're going to screw up the brakes. If we brake too much, they will heat up, become hot, and need more maintenance, and maintenance means costs. So the airlines, the companies will be happy if we use low braking. We are at 210, flaps to 1, so we can see here that the flaps are going to go to 1, or I can also show here. So if we pay attention to that one, here flaps 1, and here we are going to see that the flaps are moving. Flaps 1. Let's go to a little bit shorter. So we know that we want to do the turn. So it's 1 nautical mile to Mazuk. So, and then afterwards about some 10 nautical miles, or a little bit less. Yeah, it's half of this, more or less. So 17, 10, 8, something like that. We're going to ask for the direction, the direct point. In the meantime, establish 180. We are coming in a little bit hot, so 180. So we still lower our speed. And at 60 ME we set flaps 2, put the landing gear down, flaps 3 and full, the flaps full. When the landing gear is at 3, we set the flaps to full. Speed for the final glide scope 145. Parking brake verify off. Very good. Okay, so we are kind of good now. We could go, let's continue a little bit more. Not to make a very tight curve here, so if we go a little bit more forward, then the curve, we don't need to curve so much to go to the airport. So let's not do too much. Flight level, what we could have a look here is a little bit difficult to see. Let me see, what is the flight level that we have there? Okay, at Newood we have a flight level of 400, so here I'm going to start already descending and asking for a flight level 400. So and I can already, of course I would request this from natives, but they would give me permission, and I would set the descent to flight level 40, not 400, so 40. So we descend a little bit. Let me just see that I'm not doing anything bad. So I'm above the ocean, so there is no restriction really, so that's fine. And I also didn't see any restriction in the flight plan here. And now it's a good time, I think, to ask for a direction, for a direct route here. So we go to the direct, and we want to go to Newood. Newood should be Newood here, and if we look now, we see that we select the Newood, so we want to go here, and we just say insert into the plan, and bam, things happen. That part disappeared, and now we're going directly to Newood, and we are decreasing still, decreasing the altitude. It's becoming night. As I was saying, probably when I'm landing in Lisbon, it's going to be a little bit darker. And we are not very far away from, so 45. 45 was the time, so 41 now, and it's saying 33. So the current time. So we are right on the money. So it's about 8 minutes, right? So what we have here, we have the spoilers are on, seat belts are on. The ignition, we should probably set the ignition, so let's see. One thing I like to do is to start the APU, so let me do that. If something goes wrong, so APU, master, on, and APU start. And then we would have the APU here. It's descending, it's looking good. The airport should be towards this direction, somewhere there, I think. So somewhere there. Actually not. Ah, no, this is another airport. Yeah, this is another airport. It's most likely here. Good. It's already blinking for the standard. So we change this, the standby instrument, and the co-pilot would do the same thing. We're arriving at the 4,000 feet. Now we're going to start leveling off. That's good.
Then cross now the runway and landing on the station.
Now put flaps 2. We see the flaps are extending a little bit. Let's go a little bit closer. 4,000 feet, 180. We are right on the money. PSX, and then here it's 160 knots with 3,000 feet. Now we're going to start turning into this direction. In the meantime, let's just see what we have done in the map here. So we see that we are following the plan, everything well until this point here. Where's the mouse? That we cut this, and now the airplane is starting to turn into this direction. So we cut all this belly, and I went actually a little bit more than half. So 180 knots looks good, and I can already reduce the go a little bit lower to 3,000 maybe. And ask to go 3,000. So the airport should be somewhere here. It's a little bit hidden. So let's go and see. We're arriving at our, yeah, there is exactly the airport as I was suspecting. We are now at the 3,000 feet, 180 knots. The next phase says that we have a restriction of 160 knots, and since this is very close already to the final part, let me go here. Oops, that was too much. This mouse here is horrible. Here I'm going to go to 145, which is the airport is there already, so I'm going to reduce to 145, which is the recommended speed. In the checklist, I'm going to put the engine into the ignition, start, and again, so yeah, activate approach phase. So we are at about 7 nautical miles, so it's a good time to lower the gear. We should see the 3 gears down, so 3 greens. 1 green, 2 greens, put flaps full, and set autopilot for the go round for 10,000. It currently is on the flight director, so now I'm going to take over, going to go down a little bit for it to capture the glide slope. It's a little bit down here, so I'm going to go like that. So I'm a little bit too high. As you can see, too high here. Come on, the glide slope. This has to start coming up, to come up.
Yankee Alpha after rotation at your discretion, 26 left.
Okay, now we are starting to capture the glide slope.
1,000.
Okay, now go and match the flight director.
Glide slope. Good report on final, 26 right. Your number 2, number 1, twin engine on final. Look out helicopter above you, slightly left for the
Glide
and
slope.
for the grass runway, sir. Helicopter inside number 2.
I'm mostly looking at this instrument, not so much as to the runway, and I'm trying to center the flight director. Yeah, I'm going high, I'm going high, going high. Need to go down, need to go down.
400. 300.
Glide slope.
Too low, too low, too low.
26 right, here's the left.
Glide slope.
I'm going too low. Yeah, the glide slope.
Glide
This is a very bad landing.
50.
Okay,
40. 30. 20.
could have been worse. Okay, I need to practice my landings. Good. Could have been worse. So we are at about here. Let's exit somewhere here, or I'm going too fast. Good. So clearing the runway. Let's see where we are. I need to improve my landings.
Hotel Foxtrot Zulu, please touch and go 26 right, wind calm.
Okay. So let's try to find a place to park the airplane. It could have been worse, so it was not so bad. 15 miles, that's okay. Can try here. Going to zoom out a little bit to try to see a little bit better where am I. '18. So lots of free space here. So the next one I'm going to take it, which is here.
Hotel Tango final, runway 26 right for Portugal. Hotel Tango, clear touch and go 26 right to wind calm. Runway 26 right, clear to land, Hotel Tango.
Overshoot. This is it's difficult to do the taxing.
Runway 26 right, clear to land, Hotel Tango.
Okay, yeah, let me see if, how am I staying? Okay, I overshoot a little bit, but there are worse things. Good. Ignition, so spoilers disarmed, flaps retract. I completely forgot all of this. As I said, I was going to do something wrong in the list. The lights, landing lights turned off. The seat belts turn off. Strobe beacon and the wing is off. The APU start, I have already brake temperature, okay. Transponder off, so in the communication, transponder 2 off. I don't see the off button here, but I do have it here. Elevator trim, taxi lights off, parking brakes are set, thrust levers are hidden, contact ground. So yeah, engine 1 and 2 off. Emergency lights off. Doors open. So in the pedestrian doors, door left open, and this one here also open. Let's see from the outside if we can see that. Yeah, we should be able to see that the doors are opening. And that's it. Navigation lights. I'm just going to turn off everything. In this case, I'm going to turn off the APU and further turn off the batteries. And the airplane goes dark. That's it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check how the landing was. Let's go back a little bit. This was not such a great landing. Let's go back. Okay. How was this? So let's go. this direction maybe. So I should have landed here, and I did land there, so I was still too high. Or, no, actually it was not that bad. Okay, landed here a little bit outside. I thought the landing would have been worse, but it was okay-ish. Let's try and see again. The important thing is that it doesn't bounce. Let's see. Yep, it bounced. It bounced. So, too many mistakes. Bouncing and so on, but it is what it is. Alright, that's it. So, hope you enjoyed, maybe learned something. If you have any questions or comments, please use the space down below. Otherwise, I wish you a happy new year, and I wish you also all the best, and take care. See you next time. Bye bye.